I've been in the world of filmmaking for about 15 years now, ever since I graduated film school. And along my career, there are some things that I learned the hard way, and I wish they taught me that in film school, or I had some sort of mentor that taught me this along the way. So I put together a list of 5 different things that I wish I knew earlier. And hopefully, if you are early enough in your career, this could be beneficial for you to hear about. And if you're new to this channel, my name is Saj, and I do create filmmaking tutorials as well as career advice and creating a video production company guide on this channel, because I feel like the money side of filmmaking is really lacking in tutorials on YouTube. So hopefully I could fill the gap and share with you what I've learned in 15 years in this profession, as well as how I turn a videography freelance career into a full-blown video production company that really set me free from having to always hunt for my next job. So if that kind of content resonates with you, consider subscribing, and I try to post every single week a new piece of content. Let's jump in. Now, the first advice is keeping your monthly cost down. And I'm not just talking about your overhead for your profession. I mean, just as a person, if you could live more frugally and keep your monthly costs down, it makes you not have to focus on making money as much as it would if your monthly costs were higher or if you had more obligations. And what this frees you up to do is you could work on lots of different projects that you really want to work on, right? You don't have to just work on projects that pay the best. You could take on even free projects. Maybe you work on short films on the weekend. Maybe you pursue your documentary film that you wanted to make. That may take years of your life, which is something I did early on myself. So if you keep your monthly cost to a point where you could live a frugal life, then you have to make a certain amount of money to sustain that lifestyle, but you don't have to make any more. So you could take on all the projects that you really want to, or as many as your time allows you to do. I really wish I knew this earlier, because I did not do that the first couple of years, and it was all about making money. And I missed out on some opportunities that I think could have taken me further in the world of filmmaking if I had the time available that did not require me to make as much money as I had to then. Number 2 is focus your freelancing or your video production work to a specific niche or topic. What I mean by this is, it's one thing early on, right, if you're starting your career as a filmmaker, to dabble in different things. Let's say you want to learn about cinematography and you go shoot a bunch of stuff. Maybe you want to direct and produce and you go ahead and do that. Or if you want to edit your own projects, or you like the business side of things and you want to run a successful video production and hire all your friends. That's all great, but at some point you do have to really narrow down and focus, because people need to really easily be able to tell what you do. So early in my career, for example, I did want to direct, but I really got better at cinematography. So I really started pitching myself as a cinematographer more than a director. I was also editing early on a bunch, but I really didn't like sitting in a room and editing. So I never told anybody that I knew how to edit, because I just didn't want to continue to get work as an editor. I didn't want to get work as an AC, so I didn't tell anybody I was an AC. I just made a bad AC. So even though that was paying the bills, I kind of shifted over to making a more focused career path. If you want to run a video production company, which I'm putting an entire course together for, showing you exactly how to go from being a freelancer to running a video production company. So if that's what you want to do, I will release that very soon. So put your name in the link below. I just have a sign up list for people that are interested in that. But if that's what you want to do, it's also important that with that you focus on the type of clients you serve. Do you want to be in the event business, in the corporate business, in the commercial world? Do you want to make little narrative short films or documentary type work for different brands? There's a ton of things there too. So start broad, but narrow down as quickly as you can in freelancing as a career or with running a video production company. Third is learn digital marketing. And with digital marketing, it doesn't matter what career you choose, right? It doesn't matter if you're a cinematographer, if you're in the art department, if you're an editor, whatever it is that you're doing, you need to market yourself. And with digital marketing, you could create a website for your personal brand, or you could create a website for your video production company and drive traffic to that website. Eyeballs that need to see what you're up to, right? Using social media as a brand builder, using content strategy like what I'm doing with YouTube as a brand builder. Ton of things you could learn about the world of digital marketing, plus the world of advertising too in the digital world, running Facebook ads, TikTok ads, YouTube ads. You got to learn those on your free time because it does one very critical thing. It basically makes you be able to turn on and off a machine to get paid work. Once you learned how to get paid work on your own, without word of mouth, without waiting for your phone to ring because of the producer you met that was going to give your name to another producer, you could just activate this machine and use paid ads and your organic content to drive traffic to your website and get work that way. Okay, there's plenty of information out there, and I do make videos covering that every single week here as well. That's very critical, and that's all through the world of digital marketing. So I minored in this when I was in film school, so I had some good start, and I really took that to the next level the first 5 years of my career. So if you're early enough to this world, or even if you're starting in your 40s and 50s, it's still not too late to learn digital marketing and be able to scale your freelance career or your business automatically or on demand. Tip number 4 is make as many short films and documentary films as you can, depending on which path you want to go. If you want to be a documentary filmmaker, make those. If you want to be a narrative filmmaker, work on short films. Now, typically I teach people to create a video production company as early as they can, because that gives them the freedom to be able to generate revenue to sustain their life, so then they have the freedom to work on the projects they want to. And I really wish I knew this before, because this is what happens, and it happened to almost everybody I went to film school with. If you make your career early enough focused on making money, you usually, if your lifestyle is expensive and you have to keep it up, you usually stop working on movies pretty early in your career. Right? You won't make another documentary film, and you won't make short films on the weekends with your friends. If that's your passion and that's your goal in the world of filmmaking, is to make actual movies and not just commercial and corporate, you have to pursue that and continue to do that. Fine, give your whole week to make money, but then leave your weekend available to work on movies. The moment you start working on movies and your world of filmmaking becomes about solely making money, which is, I know, is very important. I teach that pretty much the entire time in every video I make. But if you get out of that world of making short films for free to get your leg in the door in that world, you will give up basically. You'll at some point just be like, okay, I don't have time for this, or you lose your drive and passion. It's happened to almost everyone I know. So hopefully if you're watching this and you're in that world, maybe you could kind of find the energy to work on that as well as make money in the world of filmmaking. Because I know a lot of times, especially with narrative short films and documentary short films, it's kind of, things that you're doing to build a resume or a career for yourself later on, right? So it's hard to make money in that world. So I always teach corporate and commercial as a source to make money. So you still are using your filmmaking skills, but you don't lose your passion and drive as a filmmaker to work on narrative or documentaries. And lastly, the most popular thing on YouTube, right, is what's the latest gear. So this tip is, don't focus so much on the latest gear and focus on learning your existing gear that you may already own. Now, here's the big difference between when I started and now. When I started, the latest gear changed dramatically what your image looked like. Right, so I was using a HVX200, a Panasonic camera, and then the Canon Mark II, the 5D Mark II came out. And if you compare the video quality from those two cameras side by side, they were a world apart. 5D all of a sudden looked a lot more cinematic, shallow depth of field. Everything looked much better. But nowadays, a few $1,000s in camera gear and lighting could basically put you in the same world, at least, as someone using a $30,000 camera. That wasn't the case before. I think I could use a Sony camera I have that's $3,000-$4,000 here and compete with people shooting on REs and Reds that may be $50,000 to $80,000. Now, I fight myself all the time on this. And for the last, 4 years, I always have to fight myself on this, because just because I could afford it, I keep wanting to buy the RE Alexa Mini. And I don't need that camera. It wouldn't make any sense. I'm not shooting Hollywood style narrative films or even indie narrative features, right? That's not what I'm doing. So why would I buy that camera and then work on my commercial work with it? The few times that I do need that camera or a RED or shooting 8K, I rent, and it's completely fine. I don't need to spend $50,000, $80,000 on camera and lens package. But in your case, you may not even need to spend $10,000. Maybe what you already have is enough to make things work for what type of work you're doing. So instead of chasing the latest camera, and it doesn't matter what it is, it could be lighting, camera, sound, just get the basics to get you started and try to make significant amount of money with what you have by being really good with that tool. Okay, most people I know buy a ton of stuff and never even learn the first thing they bought. Okay, and I know the world of YouTube is all about the latest camera gear, and I cover that on this channel all the time too. But I also cover filmmaking skills that are basic fundamental things that you could do with any camera, and they come down to lighting, they come down to composition, they come down to color grading. All those you could do pretty much with any camera to make your image quality far better than just spending more. Improve your skills rather than improving your gear. So those are the 5 pieces of advice that I wish I had earlier in my career. I hope you found some of them useful. Let me know in the comment section which one resonated most with you. I do have links in the description to what we've talked about so far, and I do hope to catch you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.